So the message I'm getting, I assume it's to be shared with all of you. And I'm not sure what to say about it exactly, but the message is turbulence ahead. And you can take that any way you want. On an airplane, it means make sure your seatbelt's on, probably in a car. If you're running to the supermarket, you want to take an umbrella and a raincoat or whatever you need and uh, be prepared that you have the message and the, if you will, the warning. I hate to think of it as a warning. It's just really a statement. But we are in very profound, uncertain times on every level. Now, I'm saying we, and it could just be me. Forget this message. It doesn't apply to you. But somehow or another, it's what's rising up. And I want to share it with you because it really means one thing: do the work. You don't want to be caught blindsided by the world, by your own mind and body, by your story. You want to have some clarity and quietude, and ideally, some connection to what I refer to as the GPS, the thing inside you that will help you and warn you of road closed, tree down, or whatever it is, detour, whatever it is that you need to hear or do to navigate the times. We are all provided with a kind of interior guidance system. Every human being is, but we all respond to it differently. And many of us see it in dramatic terms or terms of disturbance. And turbulence is just a condition. It's a condition of weather and also a condition of human journeying, the world around us. I don't know what's ahead, really. This has been a really interesting period. Obviously, just in the political arena out around us, life is changing. Some people are thinking of it as turning into a joyful ride, which I would love to feel and believe, and in a way do. But my feeling mostly is intellect is not going to solve the issues. It's not going to predict the future. It's based on narrative and storylines that are just storylines. And we need deeper, more directive guidance through turbulent times than the mind, because the mind in most cases is misinformed or ill-informed or not anywhere near to the task of trying to carry you forward. You need to go in. You need to go into your heart, and you need to go into your gut, and you need to ask for help, and you need to receive it. Say, please help me. What now? And it really does come down to what will be known as moment to moment decision making, moment to moment awareness, moment to moment arrival at the right choice. Whatever that may be for you, that moment will keep appearing. Some of them will be mundane in the extreme. Remember to wash the dishes, remember to flush the toilet, or whatever it is that you think is the thing that's coming at you. But a lot of the times, what's happening is going to be of a much bigger cosmological scale. Something is going on in our lives, whether it's going to happen in a minute or it's going to be something that's going to take the rest of our lives. I don't really know, but it's a kind of inflection point. Something is happening. And the warning is on the airplane, turbulence ahead, strap in, buckle up. And we need to do that. But it's not to sit down and go, oh, no, 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 because that just creates more drama and more difficulty. It means to go, okay, settle in, be quiet, Make sure you have enough food in the refrigerator and enough food in the pantry, whatever it is. Just have your stuff at hand, but mostly have your inner life percolating in a way that speaks to you and helps you figure out how to move forward in a day-to-day fashion. It's an amazingly interesting moment to be alive. There's just a level of either or in our existence right now that we haven't really witnessed, although we may feel we have. This is a big turning point in our lives. What can you do to address it in a way? Open your heart, spread the love, spread the compassion, hold hands, be connected to each other, be available to each other in ways that you have not perhaps been before. Take it deeper. Don't keep it on a superficial level. Find your way into core level stability. Core level stability is not rigid, it's very fluid. It's very gentle. It's very easy. It allows you to simply be present with the what is, to ride the waves of the ocean, to feel supported by the ocean rather than distorted by it. Because we are all floating on this amazing existence. We are part of it and we are not separate from it on any level, meaning that the incredible depth of oceanic being that spreads out and creates the world is creating you and informing you moment to moment of how to be in its presence. And you listen or you don't listen. It gives you enormous power and authority to do whatever it is you want to do. You can mess up, you can do beautifully. You can be part of the equation, you can be part of the dissonance. Whatever works for you. This is a time where, in a way, testing occurs. You know, you've all been to elementary school and high school, and they say, Friday we will have a test. Some of you get down and start preparing. Some of you go, oh my God, and you go again. And some of you are just like, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. And everybody has a different level of approach to the test. But we get tested. We have since we were little kids, and we're going to get tested continually, and we are going to be tested now. How do you ride out the turbulence? How do you ride it out? Well, again, I've been given a practice, 60 plus years of my life of extraordinary hand-holding and assurance. Something has brought me into a place that goes, got your back, ride this out, do the work, be still pointed, do what's in front of you, all of those kinds of lessons that keep coming up. Do I get distorted on occasion? You bet. Stuff comes up. You know, I've had I'm not going to go into it, but I've had a week where a lot of stuff's come up and been very tumultuous. And maybe that's why this talk is happening. But I can only tell you that I'm looking at people and picking up this sense of well, everybody's different, obviously. But when I go into the psyche of all of you, and that's what this journey is about, I see a kind of uh-oh, uh-oh, oi, quality to life. It's bigger than that for some people, and believe me, it has a right to be bigger than that because it is turbulent. And when it's turbulent, it plays differently than when it is, little bit rocking the boat. This is not rocking the boat. This is movement. This is big stuff. And if you really are in a place of surrender and openness, you will feel the buoyancy of life rather than the shock and turbulence that it is offering. You'll feel almost maybe even joy. Wow, this is amazing. Life is really, this is a pretty amazing moment in the history of our time and planet and world. But it is not just going to be a straight line. So alert yourself, guide yourself. And those of you whose practice is occasional, who are not, who are, who come to this on the days where it's really bad, no, be here all the time. Stabilize yourself. Make yourself available to this deeper inner calling and be available not just to yourself, but really to each other, to the other. And I'm telling you, that's the ultimate stability in life, where you provide your still pointedness to help still point others. Not that hard, guys. It's just listen, be attentive, and be kind. Be responsive to the very immediate circle of people around you, and then maybe to a broader circle. It's a time if you want to commit to the larger social fabric. This is a get out the vote moment. So maybe that's something that alerts you and grabs your attention to do something beyond you that looks to the larger picture. But in truth, the best thing you can do in this lifetime is be nice to each other. And you may find that to be a kind of strange, a strange statement, but being nice to each other is actually the most you can do in the world. It's the most essential because it's immediate and it's powerful. And it really is don't fight, don't be in battle, don't go through the drama of daily life. Have a life that supports and rewards, if you will, each other for your presence in each other's lives. Really important, guys. And if it's ever been essential to get this down, this is that moment. So I'm just asking you to show up for yourself, meaning be persistent, consistent, regular in your own effort and practice, and then bring that out into the world and be there for everybody else during this time. And the next few months are really dynamic in terms of you'll I mean anyone who turns on the news or reads a newspaper or has something reaching out to you out of your algorithmic life, you're going to know this is like, woof, it's going to play with your emotions. It's going to play with your minds. It's going to play with your dynamic of a being. Be prepared. Be prepared. Things that lift you up can bring you down. Sometimes up can go higher than you've ever been before or down deeper than you've ever gone before. This is the time to stabilize, be quiet, ask for help. And trust me, asking for help is a core ingredient in this spiritual practice. It's not for you to just sit there and say, well, what about me? It's really important to talk to and I'm going to use the word I started with a couple of weeks ago, talk to the radiance within. The radiance within you is alive and well and shining and bright. And if you don't feel it, it's because your attention is elsewhere. If you can go into the radiance inside and trust me, it's there. Some of you are radiating right now. Others of you are, what's he saying? What's he talking about? Radiance is an inner persistence of being that is light beyond understanding, and it wants and needs its vessels of, you might say, human expression in the world to bring light into the world. It needs you. It needs you. And if you want to deal with turbulent times, bring sunlight, bring the light into the world. Don't wait for other people to do it. Don't sit back and think, well, it won't affect me, or just lock yourself in your house. That's not exactly the answer. It'll work, but the better answer is walk around with radiance, share your being, love the people around you, be careful, and prepare them as well as yourself for the turbulence, whatever that may be. Find a way. I can't tell you all the specific elements of going into that space. I'm learning it all myself as I go along, but I will tell you the great lesson that I've been given is allow the radiance to shine through no matter what is happening. It carries you above the clouds, above the darkness, above the night. It allows for a light that shines eternally, and it's inside you. Trust me, it's not it's not a separate entity. It's not outside the world. It is right inside your very right, your very core is that. And I only wish every one of you could touch it on a daily basis, because there's nothing greater in life. And why discover it as you're leaving the world? You might as well find it now, sitting there right this very second. You guys have every reason and every opportunity to open to this quietude of being that radiates into all of the infinite existence that surrounds you and blesses it endlessly. That's who you are. It's what this is. It's what this ride is about, and you're on it. So when the plane's loudspeaker says turbulence ahead, buckle up. Trust me, I am a voice of the speaker on the airplane. Buckle up, be ready, and Godspeed. This is going to be, it'll be fun, I think, or really interesting. Definitely, you're going to feel on some levels more alive than you've ever felt before, or you're going to feel more hidden, whatever your choice may be. I would vote for aliveness, and maybe the word vote's really important. I would just vote in general at this point in time. So it's a short talk. That's all I got to say. Um, any what can I say? Questions? This is a interesting moment. I will just fill you in quickly that I was supposed to go to this my niece's daughter's bat mitzvah in California this week. As the elder of the family, my attendance was expected, and yes, 2 days ago I said I'm not going. First time I've ever made a choice like that in my life, because I don't have the energy, I don't have the health, if you will, to make a journey like that. But I've never wanted to make that choice. I've always wanted to say, oh yeah, fine, I'll do it. I can manage, I can do it. And I said no. The most empowering thing ever to say no. And it was life-changing on some level. I disappointed a lot of people, and I don't like to do that, but it's I can't do it. And then yesterday we went to pick up my grandchildren at camp 2 days ago, and there's a big campus, and for the first time in my life, I realized I can't walk from one place to the other. And luckily, they had these vans that carried you around from place to place. I've never used a van in my whole life. And it was like, oh, and Blanche and I shared the problem. I mean, so many issues going on that have to do with with aging and all the dynamics of the human journey. And there's a part of everybody that wants to deny that that's what's really happening. But I went, this is really happening. This is really changing. Life is altering on some foundational level. And I think I've said to you, I'm going to be having surgery in it's about 6 weeks now for my back, and see if that can be of some service to all this. But there's a lot that is really altering, and there's a point in your own life where you have to just say, this is happening. This is real, and make choices that are not popular, that are not going to befriend you to people, that are just the right thing to do, and they are empowering and life altering at the same time. And I feel, in a sense, liberated by having to make everybody else happy. All I can do is serve this deeper function, but it is deeper, and its depth comes out in other ways. And maybe perhaps in serving you guys, which I hope to be able to do. But things are changing. Maybe the turbulence I'm talking about is just for me, but that's not how it's appearing, and it's not what I'm being shown. I'm being shown it in a much deeper way. But it is a time of change, and what one needs to do is own your own decisions. Take ownership. Say no for the first time. You may want to just say, nope, I'm not going out. Nope, I'm not going to have dinner with you. Nope, I can't do that. You can do that. You can also say yes to things, but you have much more power than you may have ever understood that you have. And that power is really, it needs to be exercised, especially now. And the power is going yes or no, but better than maybe, you know? But I guess you could just say, I don't know, or I'm not sure. I mean, you can do any of the above, but I'm telling you, you're weaving a story of your life, and there comes a point where you go, that's not anything I can do anymore. Said and done. It's powerful. It's really powerful. It's acceptance at the deepest level. And I am really learning on a daily basis. And I try to share it with you. I don't love talking about my aging and all my stuff, although my sons would disagree with that. I'm really trying to just to play it the best way I can. The great thing I will tell you is the universe is unbelievably empowering, sends enormous energy through the system, and it tells you when your body cannot do it anymore, but it tells you that your heart and your mind and your spiritual center is alive and well. And trust me, the great thing about 50, 60 years of meditating and spiritual awareness is that the awareness is there. It even watches you disintegrate, and it actually watches it with serenity. It's an amazing thing. It watches you fall apart. It watches the people around you fall apart, and it goes, yeah. And it has such an open, loving embrace of that essential human process that it doesn't go, why me, God? It doesn't have that. It's completely the opposite. It's, I understand and thank you for this journey. I cannot even begin to express the amount of nostalgic, sentimental joy I have for every moment of my life, for all of you in it, and for the exquisite journey that this is. But I am aware that the core of my being is the core of your being and all of our being. It is infinite, eternal, magical beyond belief, mysterious beyond belief, and alive at the very essence of everything we've ever come to know. It's there. So it's happening. It's speaking as I supposedly Bruce is talking. And you can pick up from it what you want. And you can also go, every week I try to say, you've had enough of Bruce. I get it. That's fine. But this journey will keep being expressed until there's no one left. And then probably it'll still go on anyway. I love you. I love you all. That's all I can tell you. This is an interesting time. Be ready for it. And I will come here week by week and I will talk to you on the phone if you want to talk on the phone. And I will try to be of assistance to the best that as I can.
Hey, Bruce.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Bruce.
So yes, who's talking?
This is Mark. Mark.
Okay.
Hey, Bruce.
I don't see you, but go ahead.
Shelly and Mark.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay. Yeah.
yeah.
There, okay.
And it was when you started your talk, it was interesting because as soon as you said the story about turbulence coming, first reaction to Shelly was, "Oh no." Like, "Oh no, I hear it comes, something's coming, and it sounds like it's not good," right? That's kind of the reaction a lot of people have. Like, turbulence is coming. Oh no, right? So that's a reaction. I was wondering when that comes into you, when they speak that way to you, is it a oh no? Is it a what is that happens in you when that signal comes in that turbulence is rising?
It's a process, Mark. And when I see the dark forces at work, there is a kind of oh no that happens. But then I really do the work. I really just do the work. And I take a deep breath and I go, okay, so be it. So and I settle into a state of absolute enrapture, if you will. That may be the wrong word, in being enwrapped in comfort, not comfort, but hug. It's like, don't worry. Don't worry. This is all part of the totality of what goes on here. Um, Again, to repeat myself endlessly, there was a time, as you probably all know or remember, I was going to try to buy a house in Canada because I really saw the future of our country in such dark terms and wanted to escape. And then realized, after actually applying for citizenship in Canada, that it would be 4 years before they could even really give me permission or even talk about it. And I realized not going to happen. And I said, okay, I'm going to get a gardener and a landscape architect. I'm going to make my house the most beautiful house I possibly can. I'm putting an elevator in my house as starting next week or two, so I can enjoy my house on all 3 floors rather than get locked into one floor if I can't do the stairs. And I'm going to embrace what I have, the life I have. The decision of doing that is so wonderful and so powerful because I am accepting that things could end badly. We could end up in a country we don't want to live in. I could end up in a body that I don't want to live in. In fact, that's already starting. But it's like, okay, make it pretty. Do the work. Get it lined up. Do the stuff you have to do to make your life work. And then accept reality. There are things you can change and things you can't change. If Canada says 4 years, that's meaningless. I'm not going to move to Canada. And plus, the governments in Canada is not all that great. So there's nowhere to go, guys. We're all in this together. We're all in this body together. And either you're going, okay, or you're going, oh no. And if you go, oh no, let me tell you, the last moment of your life, literally, which is what all of this has been programming us for, at that last moment of your life is either going to be, oh no, or, and I would like to work it out and think maybe there's some possibility of that, of going, thy will be done. Yes. I want to go yes. And that's it. Yes. And I mean to everything. So when I say turbulence, yes, I know, oh wow, or oh no, whatever your thing is, but I know that you need to be able to get to this still pointedness in you. So when the turbulence happens, you can observe it quietly, be present. And when the final moment comes, if that's what happens, and this not necessarily turbulence that will lead to the final moment, but when it does, you go, yes, instead of, oh no. And it takes a lot of training to get to that point. It takes a lot of spiritual training. Most people think they're doing spiritual life to never have to make that decision or to never have to worry about, that they'll find that they are already infinite beings and they won't have to get there. But trust me, when you can't take another breath, there's something going on. There's an oh no moment for many people. On the other hand, my father-in-law, in his last 3 breaths, which I got to witness and be with and hold his hand through, his last 3 breaths were the most beautiful, calm exhalation with a tiny little inhalation, a longer exhalation with a tiny inhalation, and then a final exhalation with nothing coming back. There was no tension. There was nothing. There was just, I was inspired by that. I was inspired by that. And I was with him at that moment. So I said quietly to him as he was leaving, I said, God loves you. God bless you. Godspeed. And on the last one, he left off. He took off. We can arrive at that. And it's not about, oh no. It was the absolute opposite. It was kind of like, oh yes. So in answer to your question, we cannot not be human. And we can't get angry at ourselves for going, oh no, because that's what we do, what we've always done. But we have a practice that gives us an ability to even open to that, to go, I am human, to accept the totality of that and find something, what I find anyway, is a kind of beauty, just a kind of beauty that radiates beyond belief. And I am beyond grateful for that. Answers the question? Thank you. Was there anybody else there?
Yeah, Bruce.
Yeah, who is this?
I have a question. I feel somewhat distracted by the breathing exercise sometimes. Like if I get focused on the mechanics of the breathing, and I feel like it distracts me. Maybe it's my ADD or something, But I don't know if you have any advice or
The breathing exercise is at the core of the practice. And I did it, as I said, for 44 years daily and loved it, actually. I love the inner directedness of it and the expansion that I would feel from each breath. I mean, it was really phenomenal. And also when Rudy taught, he would look at me and my body would explode. I mean, I'd fall on the floor. I mean, it was just like unbelievable energy. We don't have that exact connection via Zoom, and I don't even know if you would have it here in the room. I'm a much gentler presence than Rudy's. But getting it down is important in a way to find your way into these centers and trying to connect to them. But as I've talked about many times, I came to a point after all those years of stopping the exercise, stopping the meditation, because I found that the person who wanted to get to that place of whatever that is, freedom and joy and lack of suffering, was the absolute impediment to that experience. That its wanting was magnifying me as a person, wanting something. And as I started to let go of even that, that's when my real practice started. It was a non-meditative. To this day, I do not meditate. I walk a lot. I take in a lot of joy I express a lot of joy. I feel a oneness, and it kind of goes 24/7. So it's not, I don't know if my 44 years of sitting got me there, of all the choices I made, that the risks that I took to kind of move toward the spiritual choice as opposed to the worldly choice. And maybe that spoke to something higher and decided to bless me with a kind of presence that I feel unbelievably grateful for and try to share. But I do know that the practice of sitting has value for a period of time to get you in touch with the mechanism. And the distraction is your mind, the mental distraction. That's a problem. And it will be a distraction for your whole life unless you get it under control. Bring it in, take it deep, and have it get to a place where you have some control over the mindlessness of the mind, which is just all the time. Not a healthy way to make it through this lifetime. It's not uncommon. It's most people's how they do it, but it's not what you want. So I would say if you can overcome the level of distraction that's there, once you've really overcome it and you get to this really established place, then you give it up. Then you can walk away, but you can't walk away before you got it. I don't think. Now, I don't know if that helps you, but what is distracting in the end is what? Thinking about dinner, tomorrow, the next moment. Why am I sitting here? This is so stupid. What am I doing? That all that kind of crap that comes up that needs to get rarefied down into a quietude that is absolutely expansive and transformative. And if you can find that, you will become a different person. You will not mind the double breath, and you will find that you can use this exercise at any time during the day when you're meditating, or when you're in the middle of a fight with somebody, or when the train is 2 hours late, or whatever it is, that something that's not working the way you want it to work, you can use it. It's really a gift. You can't use the gift if you haven't figured out how it works. So I would encourage you to continue. On the other hand, it's your life. However you want to play it, play it. I'm just offering a technique. That's what it is. It's something that can help. And a little bit of guidance eye to eye, online. Trust me, there's something that filters through the system that have nothing to do with it, and it goes to you, and it tries to make shifts and changes in the knottedness of your life to make the flow easier. That's what it's trying to do, to make you more open and more available and more, in a way, grateful for being alive. That's what it's trying to do. To the degree that you can rise up and take hold of that, hopefully life will be better.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Dusty. I don't know whose hands are up or not up. Wendy.
Thanks, Bruce. It's a little bit of a riff off that, where in that radiance, by the way, thank you, Bruce. So many things you said today, especially about the radiance and the living above, kind of the suffering, really spoke to me. But as far as in meditation, where there's a sense of that radiance and a sense of like almost downloads or insights or information, but where is the, like, my attention being, is that still a distraction, even if it's in that kind of expansive? Is it better to have, or to, my attention like elsewhere and not kind of just go with that? I'm just trying to get a sense of in that joyful space, is that still a distraction, if that makes sense?
Well, if you get attached to it in some way, so there's a you and it, and there's an attachment to the you and it, it separates you. Oh, look what I got. Look what I have. How can I hold on to it? I need this. It makes me better, makes me happier. That starts to, if you're really going deep, work itself out, and you start to let go of the I having it. There's only one thing, which is I hate the word it's not enough. Radiance is a better word. There's only the radiance. But if you're walking around saying, I have radiance, you got stuff to do still. I don't care how radiant you are, your ownership of it is separational, and it's problematic. So it will radiate, it'll get rid of you in the end if you let it, but if you're holding on to it and walking around with, hey, I got the radiance here. And I see people who do that. I see people who walk around emanating their radiance. It's awful. It's the worst thing. A lot of movie stars. A lot of spiritual teachers. Are you looking at me? Thanks, Dan. Um,
What does that mean? Emanate,
emanate radiance is to walk around and use it as a selling point. You know, it's a thing that people have, and I absolutely, you look at it and you go, oh my, you know, it's, but they're beautiful. They're often beautiful and physically appealing, and they know it and they show it and they own it in a way that wants a return. And the need for the return is problematic.
But don't be cocky about it, right?
Yeah, don't be cocky. Well, there shouldn't be any you involved at all. I'll tell you, Blanche and I have had an open Sunday morning class in our home since 1980, every Sunday for the last 50 plus years. That's a lot of bagels. You know?
Your bagel?
No, they're not always New York bagels, but there's other places that make, they are.
Ah.
So it's an effort, you know, but you know, my effort is sitting here, whatever I'm doing, pontificating. Blanche's is setting up, cleaning up, everything else. And by the way, anybody who wants to help Blanche clean up is welcome. And it's something that one gives and one does. I can only tell you, find the thing you can do that gives and shares with people and allows them to have this kind of connection to something greater than them. It's a real gift. And anybody else now? Have we done due diligence? Okay. Thank you guys for coming. I am very, very grateful.
Thank you, Bruce.
I will try to keep it going, although I will tell you, I can see an end point. So I hope it doesn't happen soon, but I have no clue. But if it does happen sooner than later, take this thing inside you and make it happen, because I don't know where else to tell you to turn. I mean, I'm hoping others of you will step up and start to teach in some way, but I can only say the ultimate teacher's in you, period. And so if you want to turn anywhere, that's the place to go. And every one of you is ready to go inside and get it. You just are. You're doing it already. Anyway, I love you. Eric, I guess I'll have a phone call from you. You don't have to drive out here. And maybe around 3-ish. Rest of us, anytime you need to call, talk, or write, or whatever you want, I will try to show up.